They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet. Gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen. In Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen brought to you by L81 Bottling Company. Taste, love, and share the tradition. Harvest Energy Solutions. Harvest cabins when you absolutely have to get away. Housewarmings, meeting all of your outdoor living and fireplace needs. Kentucky Sheep and Goat Development Office. Try something different tonight. Rose Farm Supply. Family farming and commitment to our customers since 1982. Salt Rocks, the flavor of life. Woods Equipment Company has every tool you need to make working the land as rewarding as hunting it. The city of Stanford, Kentucky. Come home to Stanford. Chrisman Mill Vineyards. Good Foods Co-op. Marksbury Farm Market. Weisenberger Mill.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. You know what? You have asked us to show things the old-fashioned way, and one of the things that we've done here lately is show you how to process a ham in your own kitchen. Now, that's a long, lengthy process once you take the ham and put it in the smokehouse and let it age. So what we're going to do is go back, way back to when we first started this whole process. Then, of course, the ham goes into the smokehouse to go through the June sweat, so on and so forth. It's a lengthy process. You probably didn't see part one if you're a KET viewer, so let's go way back. Show the first part, and then finish up with just recently the second part, which people have been asking for, how to cure your own ham. And we're going to bring in our buddy Jay Caskey to show us how to take a ham from step one to slicing and cutting it on part 3, which will be after this. Now, the next person I'm going to bring on board is my good buddy Jay Caskey. Now, Jay, you and I have run around for 150 years, and it seems like our paths keep crossing. I'll kind of get interested in this, and you get interested in this right over here. And they're kind of on the same parallel, but you take a little different jag, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting to me. Of course, it's all outdoor related and cooking and eating related. But over the years, you've kind of gone in ways that I have not gone, and you've kind of taken things a step further when it comes to the actual processing of the meat. Now, I think that's kind of cool, and I want to show everybody this right here. Now, he wouldn't have even done this if I hadn't asked him to, but look at that right there. Explain what that is.
It's a blue ribbon from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It was a top 10 award amateur event for processing country ham, and did a lot of research and background and took one to the state fair.
First time ever. Ham?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Now that's saying something.
Yeah. And I encourage everyone to get involved with it, I'm telling you.
Now, if you don't raise pigs and you want to get a ham, you can do this. You can go to UK. Tell me how you can get a ham or even some side of bacon.
Yeah, you can go. University of Kentucky has a lot of knowledge and a lot of your ham producers. You can call them up. They'll give you information on what to do, maybe not what to do. And lo and behold, you can buy these, what they call green hams. They're fresh hams off the hog, and then you can bring one in, process it, rub it down, and take
Good to
off
go.
there.
We haven't really done this with you. This is your way to do a nice country ham. And we're going to see. Of course, this is just today.
Yeah.
Today, I just picked this up.
That's right.
Now, there's probably a little bit of fat on there you're going to trim off. Just kind of tell us what you're doing and talk us through it.
We're going to trim off some of the excess fat that's on there. He didn't overfeed them. He has some nice, healthy pigs, I can tell you that from what I'm looking at here. What we're going to do is trim some of this off so that way the salt can get into it to cure. And what I'm going to try and show folks is that these hams are not as salty anymore as what they once used to be.
Now, these pigs were, I would say, pampered.
Yeah.
and they ate really good.
Did you name them?
Well, you know, typically you're not supposed to do that, but
Right.
I was going to name them Orville and Wilbur.
Yeah.
You know, that would be.
Yeah.
Nikki saw one of them that was always kind of mean to the other one, so she called him Cain and Abel. So you don't want a whole lot of fat. You want to
We want to get it in there to cure the meat. Let that salt, sugar get down in there. One of the main things that we want to pay attention to when we're going to salt cure this ham is the hock. And that's the end here next to where the part of the foot and that came off, and down in this area, as you notice, I'm sticking my finger down there. I want to try and get, when we go to put the salt cure to it, every bit down in there that we can. And I mean pack it in there. Don't spare it. This one here is opening up nicely. Thought I might have to use a butter knife or something. To get
Now the
there.
reason for that being that there are some areas that around a bone or something like that, where if you don't put enough in there, what will happen?
It's sour and
We
the
don't
meat
want that to
around.
happen.
No.
So the whole process of this curing thing is basically taking the salt, and the salt will draw the moisture out
That's right. We got what we call
and add
shrinkage.
flavor.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cook this thing up. Then what do you do with it? What's the next step after you get it all packed down?
After we get it packed down, we're going to wrap it up in 100% what I call butcher's paper. There's no wax like this on this to
We just
protect
put
the
this
counter.
on to protect the counter,
Yeah.
but that's butcher.
That's what we call butcher's paper. Anything will bleed through it, what have you,
Gotcha.
and that's what you want. So this can breathe.
Gotcha.
And but we're going to rub it down, wrap it in the white paper, and then we're going to put it in a sock,
Okay.
tie a knot in it, and we're going to hang it up. And in that process of time, it normally takes about 3 months. And when we hang this ham up, we want it to stay in an environment of around 40 degrees or less, down to about 35. And like this ham, it'll go down in, like tonight's temperature is going to be 25.
Right.
So this ham's going to be cooling out. Because now it gets, say, 55 tomorrow, the ham's still fine because he's cooled out enough to where, and he's cool right now where he's been in this locker.
Right.
We stick a thermometer in, this ham's probably somewhere around 38 degrees.
Right.
And so tonight, 25, he's going to get on down there some more. Tomorrow, it's not going to happen.
40.
Yeah, because the sun's not going to get to him in the smokehouse, of course, and heat it up. And most of the smokehouses are in shady areas. Or you can take this ham, and if you have an extra refrigerator, you can hang him up in that.
All right, now, why is it important to weigh your ham? I see you have a scale over here.
To weigh the ham, we want to try and get 23% shrinkage.
Gotcha.
And the reason why is the longer the salt stays on, and of course the saltier the ham's going to be.
Right.
So I'm going to take that one out when it hits on its mark. I'm bringing it out. I'm going to take the paper off of it, the sock off of it, wash him all down, let him dry, then resock him with the netting, hang him back up, and he's ready to go. For especially if you're going back to the fall holiday.
All right, what do we do now?
What we'll do now is going to get our salt cured. I've already mixed it up, and I can tell you what it consists of so everybody out there can do it.
All right, here's the point right now where you get your pencil and your paper and get ready to write something down, because Jay's going to give us his top secret gabillion-dollar recipe. That's worth $1 billion on a new Ford truck. All right, what do you put in there?
We're going to put 8 pounds of salt, and that can be table salt. Try different salts, there's really not any difference in them. And then 2 pounds of brown sugar, dark brown. And then 4/10 of a pound of red pepper. And then the other one is 4/10 of a pound of black pepper.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Now see, here's what I like about the way you're doing things and the way that I'm trying to do things. I've seen so many people put these, and I know everybody's got their own thing, but
Yeah.
the nitrates and the nitrates and all that stuff. I really like the fact that we're doing this with just those pure ingredients. And the way that we're going to do the bacon,
Right.
again, we're going to revisit that because we did it last year, and we've got an inside situation where the light's good, and I want to revisit that. Well, let's get your stuff out and let's pack her down. I know where this pig's been. Isn't that the great thing about today? We can find folks who are raising stuff here in Kentucky, proud of what they're doing. We know where it comes from. If you have the opportunity to do it yourself, I'd highly recommend it.
Now here's an important part, like we talked about the hog before. You're going to see I'm going to be putting a lot of the mixture down into this hog.
Just jam it full.
Jam it full. And I recommend all you can put in it.
Until it stops.
Yeah.
You know, we used everything on that pig. You know the hair on the pig? That's what I make toothbrushes out of.
Oh, that's good.
I'm kidding, Jake.
And you can do this to bacon too if you want to. All right. That's the basic rub right there, and then we're going to start putting the paper on him, and we're going to put some more on him. We're not going to spare any salt. I'm going to get some of this butcher's paper right here. If you'll hold him up right there, just like that. All right. And I'm going to slide this under here just like kind of like that. And that's the first thing I want to do is I want to get that paper on there. There's no real formula to this. We just wrap paper on them. I'm going to get another piece. You want to hold that right there?
Sure. And you can get this butcher paper just about anywhere.
Butcher shops, they all have the real McCoy. I just go in and ask them if I can buy about 10 feet of it to do a couple hands. And there you go.
Now, I'd say back in the day, they probably used newspapers or whatever they had around, didn't they?
Absolutely. And if you'll kind of hold that right there, I'm going to get a sock over here.
And where do you get those at? Butcher shop as well?
Yeah, I got online and found those. Open this up just a second. I want to put some of this excess in there while we're at it. This is not going to hurt anything. You can put it 1/4 inch deep if you want, or 1/2 inch, whatever you want on it. It doesn't matter, because once it takes a cure and it gets to what you want, you're going to take it back open and open it back up, and you know everything's going to be ready to go. So.
Were you kind of surprised once you started doing the research at how not difficult this is?
I was really, really shocked, and I'll tell you something else. I was very, very impressed with the people that I contacted in doing the research on it, of how they were so willing to help you, and so nice and kind, and you know it's pretty awesome to me just to see it. And once you get it up top, you just give her a twirl around and tie her up in a knot.
There's something you said is pretty important you have to remember.
Hang it hock down. And that's
meaning, for those who don't know what hock is.
Yeah, that's where the foot had been removed from it. Like I was showing, we put all the salt into that hock and then wrapped it up first, hold it in there. When you go to hang it, when it's in the sock, the knot's going to be up on the top where it was taken off the side of the hog. But that hock needs to hang down, and that way it can drain that way too. Yep.
Now, from this point, you get it to that temperature that you want it and let it sit for how long?
About 6 weeks before I check it. And then I'm looking for weight at that point to get our 23%.
So let's talk about from the time that you've done this to putting it in your mouth and eating it. How long you got to wait?
I'd say with that dude right there, I'd wait about 6 months to get the best taste, best flavor, whole 9 yards. That's what.
So we're going to work through this process. This is part 1. So when the next step rolls around, we'll come out here and fire up some smoke and do all that kind of stuff. But let's put him where he needs to go, and then we'll talk about some bacon.
All right.
We're going to take this down and put it in my outhouse. It looks like an outhouse. Everybody makes fun of it, but man, I'm telling you, we've had a lot of fun with that. A buddy of mine made that for me, and really, you don't have to have anything fancy. All you have to have something that's enclosed.
Right. Yeah, you don't need a large area. Before, when smokehouses were built, they fed large families, working families, farm people, so they had a lot of hams hanging in the ceilings of those. But now we're doing in the small, so smaller's better, so you can get the smoke to it,
concentrate
get the job
in that
done.
Jay Caskey is back for Hams Part 2.
There we go.
You know what? A minute ago, we had 4 hams. We had 1, 2, 3, and then we had one that was moldy looking.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't throw that moldy one away.
No.
You're just going to take and work on it. If you see something like that, that's part of the natural process.
That's right.
Let's count back. It's been several months.
Oh, yeah.
They went through the June sweats and done everything they're supposed to do. We've let it set in the smokehouse. We've let it go through the June sweats.
Yep.
A little mold won't hurt it.
Right.
That's fine. That's all part of it.
That's all fine. This one had some on it, and it will have some inside as well once we take it apart. Salt equalization is the second phase of this, and what we're going to do is unwrap it. They call it shucking. The old timers do. We're going to shuck this off, and we're going to scrub him down a little bit, and we're going to resack it, and we're going to hang it back up, and we're going to go for however much this ham weighs, say 15 pounds, 2 days per pound is what it's going to be. Say 30 days, ready to go.
You're ready to roll.
Yeah, and what I do at that point is this will hang like in my basement. I built a rack, and I hang my hams up in the basement, and it stays a constant temperature down there, you know, like 62 or 3 degrees. Try not to get over 75 degrees. And then if you want to smoke the ham, you cold smoke it. And we talked about that in the first part, and that's to be 90 degrees or under. There's no science to it. It's however much you want to do, what the taste you acquire.
Obviously, the longer you put smoke on it, the more smoke flavor you have.
Absolutely.
You don't want too much.
No, you don't want too much. That's for sure.
So here we are at this phase. Now, we had a lady recently that asked us, she said, can I hang my hams in my house if I can find a steady temperature? Would it stink her house up? Or if she could find a place in her basement or somewhere where she's got a steady temperature under, between 65, 70 degrees, somewhere there?
Yes, that's
good to go.
ideal. Yes, and it really won't stink your house up. I mean, you'd have to put 100 in there, but when everybody comes over and smells country ham, she's going to be cooking. But remember, in the early part, you want to be between 35 and 45 degrees. And if you keep it steady within them temperatures, you're great. And that's why we do it in the wintertime, so you can get those temperatures like that.
So that hot time in the summer when it's in there, going through the sweats, that's all part of it too?
That's all part of it, yes.
All right, let's break this guy out.
All right.
Look at that. Oh, the smell.
Yeah.
I want some now.
One of the things that we can do with this is we want to probe it. And I use just a 4-inch ice pick, and you just penetrate it all the way in, bring it out, smell it wrong.
Oh, man. Like any kind of process of food preservation, it's going to give you a warning if it's bad. People say, oh, I don't want a can, I'm scared to death of it. If you got something in a can that turns bad, like tomatoes, if you didn't seal on it, it's going to let you know.
That's right. We're going to rinse this thing off. And two, a lot of times you'll see, heavier mold, but that's what your sack's for and everything's to keep that kind on the outside. But if it's inside, different areas, and you'll see some probably here in a minute on it, we'll get all this cleaned up and we'll go from there.
I'm going to step out of the way because I'm on a downhill slope.
And if you need to use a scrub brush, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, right there's some old seal that see how it does when you're walking on it. Yeah.
So when I tell Nikki you forgot your scrub brush and using her favorite towel,
don't tell it. You're the one handed it to me.
That's true. I can't deny it. That's actually a beautiful looking ham right there, man. Now, how long? What's the count on this? How long has this thing been hanging? I can't remember.
Oh, he's been about 10 months. Yeah, a lot of people put these in refrigerators, and hang them. And I always remember hawk down and go from there with
Hawk down. Remember hawk down. So, Jay, what got you interested in this whole ham process?
The older ways. I just liked it because it being healthier for us, and like we talked before in the first part, no nitrites or no nitrate, no pink salt.
So this is it. Now you hang it back up.
Hang it back up.
Just one sock.
Yeah. And well, you can do two. I normally do two, but
right. And Jay, you're making this process look pretty easy. Now it's a lot of work.
The rewards is what's really great when you sit down at the table with it and it's one of your own.
Man, I'm telling you what. I just thank you so much for sharing secrets with us and.
You're welcome.
We like a lot of same junk, don't we?
Yeah, a lot of same stuff.
Let's go hang this baby back up, and I tell you what, when it rolls around and gets close to Thanksgiving, you bring your family over, sit down with my family, and we'll chow down.
Yeah, get my ham back.
Just a little bit of it. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
Now we've come to the serious part of the show, where we introduce a couple of morons on our front porch.
I'm Lardo.
And I'm Burley.
And we're the Moron Brothers. Got a frog in my throat. Well, we was born and raised back in the sticks. Everybody used to call us Hicks. Had a 20-acre holler that was nestled between two hills. Raised hogs and chickens and cows and a mule. Might have been hillbilly, but weren't no fools. We had plenty to eat. Raised it all ourselves. Now the biggest problem that we ever had was a mule named Rodney. Kept everybody mad. No matter how hard we tried, we couldn't keep him fenced in. He'd get in the garden and Ma's flower bed and paw his cuffs and scratch his old gray head, settle his nerves with a drink and patch the fence again. Me and my brother bought an electric fence battery and all. Put it up one night, gonna surprise our pa. Had to keep the mule in so pa wouldn't get so tense. Pa got up that night, moving kinda quick, headed for the outhouse. The fog was thick. Must have lost his way, got hung in that electric fence. Yeah, he must have went through a spiritual change. He don't look the same anymore. Works hard every day, goes to church every Sunday. No more loafing at the country store. Treats us all different, even quit chewing tobacco. Ain't cussed or drank ever since the night that Paul got hung in that electric fence. We heard Paul scream, he said, "Come quick, sons. Martians have got me, they're zapped me with a gun." Wasn't hard to find, there's sparks flying everywhere. He said, "Stand back, boys, I ain't a-joking." His body was jerking and his long johns was smoking. Hair was standing straight up, he must have really been scared. We was trying to tell Paul what we'd done. Saw them all coming with her old shotgun. She said, "Step aside, boys, ain't no Martian gonna get my man." When the mule ran out of the barn with a bucket on his head, Ma let go both barrels, filled him with lead. Thought he was a Martian, couldn't make her understand. Yeah, he must have went through a spiritual change. He don't look the same anymore. So works hard every day, goes to church every Sunday. No more loafing at the country store. Treats us all different, even quit chewing tobacco. Ain't cussed or drink ever since the night that Paul got hung in that electric fence. We got Paul out when the battery went dead. He was stiff as a board when we got him in bed. Me and my brother got scared, snuck the fence back to the store. They still swore up and down that the Martian was there. He been able to do nothing with Paul's hair. Can't figure out why the mule won't need to have a bucket anymore.
And by the way, we get mail. We get lots of mail. So let's read some of that mail right now in a little segment we call Mail Call. It's time for Country Kitchen Mail Call, brought to you by Nikki's Tiny Piano and Our Three Hands. On Mail Call today, we received a message from Andros Karolambas Paliotis, I believe it's pronounced. He's from Cyprus. He said, "Thanks for the nice video. On my country, Cyprus, we make traditional smoked bacon and lutza, which is a pork. They marinate in strong red dry wine, salt, and crushed coriander seeds for 2 to 3 days. Then pad dry the meats and coat with coriander again and smoke for several hours, 75 degrees Celsius. No skin on bacon." Now this can be hanged in room to last all winter. Very tasty. You can eat it as is or grill or fry. Same recipe for sausages. I like your smoker. And they speak Greek mainly in Cyprus. And thank you, Andros, so much. Okay, one more. Here's Anna Gribbins. I would like to know what type of apples you think make the best apple pies. You know what? Good old Granny Smith makes pretty good apple pies. And here's another one. I saw your Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen recipe that featured Bob and Lois Ellis's pickled green beans recipe, and I couldn't wait to try it. I followed the recipe, and however, my version of the canning liquid turned a much paler color. Hers was almost chocolate brown. How did she get hers to be that dark? And I tell you what, she used the white vinegar, but it's probably the cinnamon that turned it dark. Thanks for writing us. We got a bunch more of these to read with you in the near future. And feel free to talk to us on TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com or our Facebook page. And if we use your question on the air, we'll send you something from Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Now, if you have missed any shows, check us out on TimFarmersCountryKitchen.com for recipes you might not have seen before. Also, check out our Facebook page, Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Like it. Find out where we're going and what we're doing. And remember, it's all about good times, good friends, and good eats. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time, right here at Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
To order a cookbook or DVD of the show, please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com.
Special thanks to Furniture World Superstore, Kencove Farm Fence Supplies, Tater Knob Pottery and Farm, Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen brought to you by L81 Bottling Company. Taste, love, and share the tradition. Harvest Energy Solutions. Harvest cabins when you absolutely have to get away. Housewarmings, meeting all of your outdoor living and fireplace needs. Kentucky Sheep and Goat Development Office. Try something different tonight. Rose Farm Supply. Family farming and commitment to our customers since 1982. Salt Rocks, the flavor of life. Woods Equipment Company has every tool you need to make working the land as rewarding as hunting it. The city of Stanford, Kentucky. Come home to Stanford. Chrisman Mill Vineyards. Good Foods Co-op. Marksbury Farm Market. Weisenberger Mill.